Do you manage your tabs properly, or do they pile up to extreme amounts? Well, if you're in the latter group, you may have noticed this, but if you open 100 tabs on mobile Google Chrome, the number representing the tab count here will turn into a smiley face. It's likely because it can't fit 3 digits in that one spot, reaching the limit, since you should never have this many tabs open ever. Now, I'm using Android, by the way, so results may vary. Thanks to Limestone Man for this fact, by the way, it's pretty neat. And it perfectly segues into this question by Antboy64, regarding the KO counter's limit on Boxing Ring. It's a loaded question that I'm going to simplify first. That is, how many KOs can you even get? Of course, the usual limit is 99, since that's the amount of stocks you can put on a match. Or you can multiply that number by 7 if you're going to include as many opponents as possible, not to mention assist trophies and what have you. Considering this, the feasible limit is about 700-ish. That's still finite though. Of course, then you can just go into a timed match with no time limit. It lasts forever, but is there still a limit here in terms of KOs? First things first, I wanted to see what the portrait score count did. And after manually testing it, it does go past 99. And the no contest screen statistics here also go past 99. It stopped showing the stock icons to depict the KO count after like the 30s or 40s, but those numbers are very low compared to what we're about to do. So, triple digit numbers are still recorded, meaning if I wanted to test any more, I'd have to make this system automatic. And it was pretty difficult getting something automatic set up. And to know all future testing was going to Boxing Ring now to fulfill the initial comment. At first I was just going to have my controller always holding down with duct tape as to get off the respawn platform quicker, and just have the match be against a CPU. However, the CPUs proved to be quite stupid. Incredibly so, actually. They would spend a lot of their time jumping around and attacking a ghost or something. This seems to be a valid strategy in competitive play, but what it did here was reduce the rate of KOs to about 6 per minute. Not great numbers, even if they are automatic. And having 7 Ganondorfs on a team didn't really help the rate, not to mention how I didn't want the KO count to be scattered by each of them. However, with the glorious help of Burbo, we were able to create a setup that allowed us to get KOs. First, you want to go into Custom Balance and give Pokemon Trainer +3 and Pichu -3. Then go into Custom Smash, make their sizes Mega, weights Light, Speed Fast, and afterwards I also made the camera fixed for other reasons. In terms of rule set, just make sure no item spawn or anything like that, turn on Spirits, turn on Handicap, turn off Team Attack, turn off Stage Hazards, and put the launch rate to 2.0. Then on one team is Charizard and King K. Rool. On the other team is Pichu with lightweight spirits and 300% handicap. So yes, 3 controllers are necessary for this setup. After that, have K. Rool go to the lights and roll to the ledge. He can now stay AFK forever. Have Charizard KO Pichu once, then jump up to the lights and get positioned like this. Now hold down the special button, and there you go, the fully automatic and almost entirely consistent KO machine. Pichu fell out on occasion, but this was slightly helped by having Charizard angle his flamethrower upwards, but this system allowed us to get about 12 or 13 KOs per minute. You can see here what my controllers were like. I only really had to duct tape the Charizard controller. And I'm using special stick, so I just had the stick get held after pressing the B button once, but really whatever works. Once we surpassed 1000 over an hour later though, I knew that I had to make this go on until the 5-digit mark, which would take 12 hours or so. Once I got back, I saw that the scoreboard went well over 10,000. I decided to just wait until I got to 15,000 and then stopped the setup. It was time to make some conclusions. First, the portrait score seems to have enough space to go on forever. The reason why I didn't test for this 6-digit number is because that would take about a week of this grinding. Unfortunately, I need access to my Switch in order to, make videos, so that's just not feasible right now. And getting into the 7-digit territory would take about 2 months. So yeah, my current conclusion is that this is practically infinite. Next is the Boxing Ring scoreboard. It seemed to keep track of the KO count just fine. However, there is limited space. It seems it could go up to the 6 digits, but I'm not sure if it would have the space to fit any more digits without squishing the numbers. There is an occasional KO count that pops up in the bottom right corner of the screen, and this seems to have capped out at 999. This matches the cap of the character selection screen badges, the badges of course keeping track of points. The no contest screen statistics seem to keep track of the KOs just fine as well, with all the space there. I also imagine this is practically infinite too, just like the portrait scoreboard. Some of these statistics here, like K-Ro's grounded time, add up to about 33 hours. I was only doing this for like 22 hours though, so my guess is that the game records the hypothetical in-game time, not real time. And with Custom Smash being in fast mode, it just speeds it up for us. But the in-game timer just seems to be consistent still. And none of this KO stuff is recorded in any of the records or anything like that, likely because I had to quit the match in order for it to even end. So yeah, those are the conclusions I've come up with from this testing. I'm still sad that most of it has to be hypothetical still, since time really is precious and I can't test this without a ton of that. But I think it at least helps us understand some of these mechanics more. Speaking of Boxing Ring though, Will the Link gives us a fact about what happens when a Smash Ball spawns on the stage. That is, when a Smash Ball appears here, you'll see that the thinner screens in the background have changed to say, "Now's your chance." It's a bit harder to make out as everything sort of blends in due to the shading, but this is a pretty neat little feature. In regards to Little Mac's stage, this fact about Little Mac from Sketchdog regarding his victory screen is also worth mentioning. For those of you who don't know, when Little Mac surpasses about 100% in damage, he'll have bruises and bandages appear on his head. But did you know that if Little Mac wins a match while in this state, those bruises and bandages will still be present in the victory screen? It's a bit harder to notice in this position, but you can see a bruise clearly here. Whereas when I got this victory screen with no bruises, we can't see anything. So that's pretty neat. Also yes, if Mac heals himself, the bandages and bruises will go away. And actually what I found out was that the bruises go away even before the percent scrolls all the way below 0. So it seems that the math is done instantly, so the effect changed instantly too. It's not dependent on the scrolling health like in, say, Earthbound. I was curious if an effect like this worked on someone like Lucario and his aura, but when I tested it I didn't really notice any difference between the aura victory screen and the non-aura victory screen. I also tested it with Joker regarding the mask he takes off when he summons Arsene, but if he wins in this state he'll still be wearing the mask in the victory screen, likely because Arsene just, isn't out. So that doesn't carry over. Oh yeah, speaking of carrying things, Shadow for Smash Ultimate asks if it's possible to have Beetle be reflected infinitely. This can be tested with the Franklin badge, and here the Beetle will just eventually break down. However, for those of you who are uninformed, you can also reflect the Beetle with any move. Attacking the Beetle makes it yours and makes it go the other way. However, if you do this ping pong setup for long enough, the Beetle will break. The animation is different for the Franklin badge test, and it's likely that the Beetle just gets destroyed because it takes too much damage. But I can't really think of a way to reflect it without a reflector, and also without dealing damage, though, so we'll just have to live with this response. You cannot reflect it infinitely. However, related to this, Kevin asks if reflecting the Beetle makes it more powerful. Normally here, Young Link can mash out of the Beetle at 40%, but stops being able to mash out soon afterwards. If the Beetle were to get stronger, then Young Link wouldn't be able to mash out even here. However, with the attack reflection test, Young Link was still able to mash out, even after reflecting it a ton of times. And the same is true for the Franklin badge, so it seems that reflecting the Beetle doesn't increase its strength, as far as I can tell. This feels counterintuitive, but I guess simply making the Beetle yours is a pretty nice reward anyways. It gets impossible to mash out of it pretty quickly too, so I guess this isn't the worst thing. Now, I was going to test this with Boss Galaga as well, but as it turns out, you cannot reflect this item at all. It seems like a projectile of sorts when it's thrown, but I guess it's not the same. Oh yeah, speaking of being the same, Hater Bracy gives me a cool fact regarding Ditto and the hypothetical alt that they use. Take notice on what happens when Banjo uses forward smash here. A bunch of feathers fly out, which are color coordinated to whatever alt you're using. Normally Ditto is just, purple. But if you catch him using a move similar to the forward smash, you'll see that the feathers are the same colors as the one you produce. And I did this test with another alt color, and it is consistent. This gives good reason to believe that Ditto is coded to be the same alt as the person who spawned them. And yeah, I thought this was a pretty clever way to figure this out, but it actually gets way more obvious when you consider how the ink that Ditto uses will be the same color as the inkling that spawned them in. Quick tangent here, but apparently when Ditto despawns, all of the ink that they applied to the opponent will instantly vanish. But yeah, it's also obvious when you see how Ditto will spawn with the same gender variant of a character too. So I guess I just thought that the method of finding out with Banjo was really clever, and overall it's pretty cool to think about this. Still on Ditto, Noodles asks what happens when Ditto gets Rage Blaster. When Ditto uses the Rage Blaster, it will do 1.9% for each hit, and this is the amount it does when the user is at 0%. However, when Marth is at the highest percent when spawning Ditto, the Rage Blaster will still do 1.9%, meaning Ditto's percent is, of course, separate from the player who spawned them. But yes, attacking Ditto will give it percent, and thus power up the Rage Blaster even more. Speaking of the Rage Blaster, Original Artist asks if pocketing the Rage Blaster will maintain its strength, or if the strength will change based on the new user's health. I'll relate this to how Power Wave will take a form depending on where Isabelle is, not depending on what its form was when Isabelle pocketed it. However, when you pocket a fully powered Rage Blaster shot as Isabelle, despite the fact that she's at 0%, the shot will still be full power. So the shot's power doesn't change here. And speaking of changing power, Raighne Jaw stuff gives me some more information regarding Lucario healing when charging an Aura Sphere. Normally, Lucario's fully charged, full Aura Sphere does like 31%. However, if you charge it at max Aura, then lower his percent to 0, the visual effect of the sphere will stay the same. However, the damage it does will be way lower, like it is when you have no Aura. I tested this with healing items too, and healing Lucario as he's charging has the same effect. The visuals are the same, but the damage changes. I was curious about how the hitbox was then affected. To test, a no Aura Sphere will not hit Ganondorf hanging from the ledge. However, a max Aura Sphere will hit him. If I charge as max Aura, then switch to no Aura, even though the power is lower, the sphere will still be able to hit Ganondorf, meaning the size is not just a visual glitch, but it really is the same size as the max Aura Sphere. Oh, and this whole damage change thing works the other way around, so keep that in mind. Speaking of Lucario though, Low Seed and Paper gives me a great fact regarding Lucario's ledge grab. Normally players can only grab the ledge a maximum of 6 times before they touch the stage. After that, they simply can't grab it again. This is normally also the case for Lucario. However, for some odd reason, his up special completely ignores this rule, and will grab the ledge anyways, despite going past the ledge grab limit. And a new limit doesn't seem to ever happen for this up B. I just keep on using it over and over again to grab the ledge, so it is infinite. And using up B doesn't restore your overall ability to grab ledges either. You're still entirely unable to grab the ledge normally outside of up B. The intangibility from the ledge grab of course doesn't stick around, but Lucario doesn't really have to worry about this mechanic now. If you get to the ledge before up B has ended, you'll be unable to grab the ledge like you're supposed to, but only if up B is already done. I tried it with some other up Bs like Pikachu's and Sheik's, but both are unable to grab the ledge in these scenarios. So I imagine this thing with Lucario is just a developer oversight, as there's no real reason for him to be able to infinitely grab the ledge like this. And speaking of liking things, I hope you liked today's video, thanks to my gorgeous patrons Felipe Morla, Lehman, Avenkaru, Burbo, Cody Benda, Raighne, Feurolant, Parade Dino, Aman Shareef, PinkieOats, Skully, and Xammary. For those of you who are still sticking around, I implore that you check out the rest of my channel, drop likes left and right, and maybe even subscribe if you haven't already. I've got quite the catalog of facts videos. I don't number each video by episode or whatever, since I think numbers in the title make people hesitant to click if the episode number is too high, since they think they're missing out on too much context or whatever. But this is almost the 30th random facts video I made. But don't worry, I know I've been milking this series to Kingdom Come, and even though it is my favorite series and I have lots of fun with it, I also know that I should work on other content too. I do have other series and other types of videos planned out that I can finally focus on now that I have my own place. So stick around, maybe you'll see something you like. Stay safe, stay casual, and I'll see y'all later.